Hi everyone, I'm Hema. I'm a hardware engineer at Google. My mentee is Mizna S, and she's the middle schooler at MUSD. So Mizna is really passionate about learning how to code. She already knew how to code in HTML before we started. And while we were working on an Android app as part of her Magic project. She was also sharpening her Python skills. So this was a really fun experience for me, where like I learned Java along with her, and she was able to build an Android app to help um, people deal with their homework. So I'm going to give it up to Mizna now to talk more about her project idea and her experience building the app.
Everyone, as my mentor mentioned, my name is Mizna, and so my mentor's name is Hema Hariharan. She moved from India to US to earn her master's at Purdue University. She currently works at Google as a hardware engineer. Her job is to design electronic chips that go into equipment which help computers communicate through the internet. She was born in Durgapur, India, but was raised in Kolkata, India. She earned her bachelor's degree at Birla Institute of Technology and Science in Palani, India. She currently takes dance and swimming classes. Her hobbies include reading, which I personally love too, traveling, dancing, photography, and listening to music. She hopes to learn the violin and visit all the continents in the world, which might take some time. My project's name is Homework Helper. The final product is going to be an Android app. I decided to choose this project because I wanted to learn more about Java and how to create an app. I wanted to create an app that would motivate students to finish their homework assignments on time. Through this project, I learned about Java, which is a programming language that is used for apps and games on Android devices. And I created an app that is fun and helps students to remember their homework and not forget to do it. How far I got. I have created an app that would send a notification at a certain time and date, and I have finished designing the layout for the Google Play Store app, which I will explain in a minute, on paper. And I am gathering information for how to create repeating alarms using Java. As I mentioned before, I will create an app for Google Play Store, but in order to do this, I have to put together different sections of the app so people actually understand how to use it. These sections include the setup part, which you would do first so the app knows when to notify you during the times that you do homework, and the homework assignments part, which shows the homework assignments you need to get done, and the gate and point system, which me and my mentor may or may not do. So I created this project using Android Studio, which is a tool that lets you develop Android apps and create the UI or user interface for the app and run code for what happens when the user actually interacts with the app. So here you can see I'm creating the design layout for the first section of my app, which is the clock part, where you choose a time for when you want your notification to get displayed. I'm choosing where on the screen the next, cancel, the time picker, and the enter your homework assignment part should be. I'm doing the same thing here, except here the user is choosing their date time, the date instead of the time. For each one of these sections, there is a main activity. A main activity is a file which stores the code on what happens when the user interacts with the app. Here I am taking the input from the user, which is a time, and storing it in the computer. And I'm saying that if the user clicks the cancel button, it will display the cancel text and remove the alarm notification. This is the main activity for the second section of my app, which is where the user selects the date. I'm taking the input from the user, which is the date, and storing it in the computer. And I am also creating an alarm. In order to create an alarm, I need the input from the user, which is a time. But I can't access information from one file without using an intent. So I created an intent so I could get the information, the time, from the user and access it here. Using the date and time information, I created a new intent and move the date and time information to the alarm receiver, where the notification gets created and displayed onto the user's device at a certain time and date the user wanted. My magical experience. Some highlights that I have is meeting with my mentor every week and working on my app after learning the basics of Java through Code Academy. Before we actually started creating our app, we had to create a Hello World application, which displays a notification that says Hello World. We use that as a template to build onto our app and create the app I will show you in a couple of minutes. And I also really enjoyed watching my code run the way I wanted it to. It made me feel really excited and happy. Some lessons that I learned was obviously how to code using Java, how to create a notification on a device, and that in writing code, there is always trial and error, and online resources can help in creating an app. Some challenges that I had was debugging my code when a notification wouldn't show up on a device. I fixed this by removing some lines of code which were unnecessary and causing my notification to not get displayed on my device. And also learning about the basics of Java, then using that knowledge to create an app. So this is my demo video. As I mentioned before, this is the code for the design layout or the first section and my second section of my app, where you choose the time and the date for your notification to get displayed. And here, this is the main activity for the first section of my app, where you're setting the time for your notification to get displayed. And this is the main activity for the second section of my app. And this is a file where you're actually creating the notification and the notification's getting displayed on the user's device. And this is just a file that is automatically created by Android Studio. So now I'm using this code and running it on my device. And if there is no errors, it will successfully install on my device. So when the user opens up the app, the first thing they have to do is enter their homework assignment. In this case, I'll write finish my history project. Since I type really fast, I'm making a lot of mistakes, as you can see. And then the user selects a time, and I chose 5:28 p.m. and clicks the next button. And they choose a date, click finish, and this is how their notification would show up. Thank you for listening.